Hey folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Friday, August 7th, 2009. Well, folks, another solid day on Wall Street here, although we are pulling off the highs just a little bit here after just touching the blue trend line. Now, this blue trend line I've had in my charts for days, if not weeks now. Interestingly enough, I didn't necessarily think we'd revisit it, and then here we are hitting it, and it was a beautiful scalping opportunity to the short side twice now. And I want to just talk a little bit about that as we get into it. But first, let's talk about the market. Where's the market sit right now? Right now, the Dow is up 148 points, or 1.6%. The Nasdaq higher by 34 points, or 1.73%, and the S&P 500 up 17.5 points, or 1.75%. So a nice solid move to the upside today across the board. Now, why is this happening? Easily enough said, the jobs data today. Unemployment numbers came out, 9.4%. That's actually down 0.1%. Jobs lost in the month of July, 247,000. Now, we were expecting a number somewhere between 275 and 300,000. Goldman Sachs came out yesterday and said 250 would be the number. Sure enough, 247. They were 3,000 off. Now, if no one thinks that they have an inside track here, you're smoking pot or crack or whatever you want to call it. It's that simple, guys. You have to realize Goldman Sachs is the god of the market. The gods of the market, Goldman Sachs, they know all. Remember that. There's a reason why they made record profits last quarter. There's a reason why they've been able to call every little move here because they have an inside track knowing what the government is going to do to a T, guys. So always remember, Goldman is God. Goldman is God. Remember that. If they say something, chances are. The only thing I would be very careful about is they called a move up by the end of this year to 1050 to 1100 on the S&P 500. Understand that they're going to be unloading into that volume, push up into that range. So please understand that. Once it hits 1100, they will be out of that market, no doubt about it, and they will be on the short side of this market most likely. So please understand, when they call a top or call a move up to a certain level and the market's already extended, that's their way of saying, little guys, come on, buy up, buy up, buy. Create volume so we can unload into it. Understand how these games are played, guys. It is so imperative that you don't get caught off guard here. This market is made up of sharks. Your shark-infested waters. If you have no idea, you will get crushed, bottom line. All right, now let's talk about the scalps today, guys. Some good calls out there. Number one, a good call on Heelys this morning, HLYS. Nice little jump on that. We talked about it to our chat room right at the open, and sure enough, ran from basically $2 to $2.25, or a little over 10%. The next play, as the market surged up here, first of all, you had a nice gap up and a hard pullback, and then the market started to surge higher on a short squeeze. Monster short squeeze here. Notice the market really ripping higher. Sure enough, I said, guys, wait, this is going to be a shorting opportunity. When you hit this blue line up here, by the way, this blue line comes all the way across from these high, connect the highs, pivot high to pivot high. Once you get there, that will be the shorting opportunity to take. Sure enough, it was. I took it right there, as did many traders and many investors and traders and swing traders in the chat room. They took it right there. I got filled at 101.74. I took 15 cents on the scalp on half of it, put a break-even stop, and then ran the rest of it down for a 40-cent profit on the rest of it. Beautiful gain on that, as we had a hard sell-off there. And again, all that is knowing your levels, guys. You have to know your levels here. Right here, beautiful short. You bounced, you came back up, break-even stop, never got taken out. Hard fall, took 40 cents on the second half after taking 15 on the first half. That is a solid gain right there, folks. Very solid gain on the markets. Then what happened to the markets? We went sideways, have floated up on light volume. Remember, Fridays, light volume. Wherever you're trading by 11 o'clock on a Friday in the summer of August, know that you're going to probably float sideways to higher the rest of the day. Just that simple, guys. There's no volume in the market. In general, the market is very optimistic, especially right now, exceedingly optimistic, and that's going to create that sideways to upper channel or upper movement in the markets. We talked about that yesterday. We talked about how Fridays you have to be very cautious. Now, again, we're going to watch here because we are coming into some new major levels, just like this 108. By the way, those of you that watched the free videos the last couple days, and obviously our premium subscribers had a first-round ticket to this, first front row ticket, really, and you can see the 100 spot 85 was a major level. We called that level. We said each time was a good short. Then we also talked about the possibility that after it hits multiple times, eventually you'll break through that. Resistance levels work about for the first 1, 2, 3 times, then ultimately you break through. Sure enough, what happened? Eventually you hit it multiple times. Yesterday you hit it beautifully, sold off again. Today you hit it right here. You gapped up above it. You came back below it. Then once you got above it, that told you you're moving higher. And sure enough, once you closed above that level, guys, it was off to the races to the upside above 10,800 spot 85. Beautiful move there, and you've continued to be on the upside of this market right now. Although you are seeing a few signs of weakness up here. Notice the tails starting to form. That could be telling us we're in for a little bit of a minor pullback, even though light volume should keep this market afloat generally on today. Now, a few other things, guys, to look for. Number one, you have to look and see where the oil front is trading. Now, the dollar is actually very, very strong today. Dollar having a monster move up on the day. We talked about that in the Research Center and gave people the alert that that was likely to happen. The reasons, again, we'll have to go and watch the video if you want to see it inside the Research Center. But we nailed that right there. The UUP would have an up move off the 23 level. Sure enough, it's back to 23.50. That's the dollar index. And then we want to talk a little bit about the oil front here. Oil's actually trading down on the day because of the strength of the dollar. That's also something we mentioned was very likely in the video last night. And last but not least, the GLD. We talked about that having a down move, and sure enough, that's exactly what the gold is doing here. Gold trading lower on the day very, very nicely. So, again, you have to understand what's going on. There are other factors involved here than just the markets and just the psychology of the markets. You also have to look at the bond auctions next week. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and ultimately what you're seeing today is the fact that the unemployment rate dipped 0.1% anyways, to a little bit down right there. That's going to give the market some energy. It gave some big energy, caused some short squeeze in the market. We'll go back to the SPY and show that quickly as well here. Here's your SPY. That's where you got that monster squeeze to come in after people started to jump on the short side here, and ultimately they got squeezed out on that move up. Touch that beautiful shorting opportunity right here again, scalping opportunity, and that's how this market's been playing out. Those are the trades I've done today. Just a couple here and there, scalping opportunities. Some nice gains though, definitely some nice little gains in the chat room as we've called them out and talked about them, so you can see them there. Now again, market is kind of inching up right around the highs, but again, notice the blue line. Blue line, very, very good resistance, guys. I've had this line in for our premium subscribers for quite some time. We utilized it all the way back here when we had a channel. See the channel and the blue lines? For those of you that probably saw this intraday on some of the charts, but you can see right here, a beautiful line, and then that's ultimately, we're up right at this upper line. It just so happens that it's much higher now, all the way up here, and that's where we are. So see that very closely. I understand what's going on there. That will continue to be resistance right up here. Beautiful hit again on this last candle and coming back in a little bit. Now pushing back up again on this chart. All right, so keep a close eye on this. 100 spot 75 to 100 spot 102 should be some good resistance up in this range as you continue to trade upwards of this blue line. If a pullback happens, look for a pullback to the 20 moving average, and then the blue line on the bottom here would be good support. And then after that, obviously, you have the blue, light blue trend line here at 101 on the downside if we pull back more and more. Keep an eye on that. Also keep an eye on some technology stocks. Technology's having an okay day tonight. Not amazingly good day, but a solid day nonetheless. We'll continue to talk about that in tonight's video. A couple things on that I want to discuss about some key levels. You are above 2,000 right now, but not by that much. It'll be the second time in about a week where we've closed above 2,000 in really not in consecutive days yet, but we'd look for that on Monday if we got that secondary close above 2,000. Initially, you closed above and then pulled back below. So we'll continue to watch Obama just coming on TV here at about 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time to give his little bit of push in the markets. By the way, folks, just so you know, there's been a lot of discussion here as well how the government got these numbers early. They're not supposed to, but the fact that Obama was on TV yesterday evening and yesterday talking about how really pumping the economy shows that they clearly had these numbers ahead of time, knew what the numbers were going to be. And by the way, don't think that they don't fudge those numbers a little bit. Don't think that they're not necessarily exactly on par with what they should be as well. Be really understanding and really open up to the possibilities here that there's some crazy stuff going on. Some stuff I talked about in the Research Center video last night really portrays that based on some implications of some jobs that aren't getting reported until next year on purpose, some extra job losses that they've just said, you know what, we're not going to talk to you about those until next year. Some really shady stuff going on there. But nonetheless, respect the market here. The market having a good, solid move to the upside today. Today, Friday, not surprising on a Friday to see the market having an up move. Come join the Research Center. Come join the chat room. Webinar tomorrow. Come join the webinar to learn the cycle activity work and all that kind of stuff that we do. Talk to you soon, folks. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, and weekend. Take care.